John Hunter Nemechek saying, great day going, just got wrecked. The 8 does hit the wall, goes down in this corner, goes straight up into the 42. So what's very hard to tell is, was it purposeful? Was it intentional? Welcome into NASCAR Inside the Race and here in Letarte's lab, where today we are going to break down the contact between John Hunter Nemechek and Kyle Busch in the closing laps of the Texas race. Let's remind everybody what it looked like on broadcast. Kyle Busch, corner exit, comes across the nose of the 42. They make pretty big contact, a hard hit with the wall, and then as they go down in turn 3, the 42 attempts to go by on the outside. Up the racetrack, the 8 of Kyle Busch goes, wrecking the 42. It's worth pointing out that the 8 of Kyle Busch couldn't maintain pace. He goes all the way back and finishes last car in the lead lap. A better view, perhaps, is the 43 of Eric Jones all the way back here. So let's take a minute, get everybody exactly know what they're looking at. Kyle Busch right here, John Hunter Nemechek to his outside. We're going to watch as the 43 has a bird's eye view of his teammate getting into this issue. It's very hard to tell kind of who moves where, right? 42 is definitely off the wall a little bit. You can judge what you think happens. The 8 straight into the corner, veers to the right, contact with the 42, and wrecks. But like any great thing that happens on the racetrack, the discussion continues off the racetrack. On social media, of course, and on X. John Hunter Nemechek replies to Fox saying he was not clear. Speaking of the 8, great day going, just got wrecked. Well, then Kyle Busch didn't respond to John Hunter, but also responded to the Fox post and says, I did not start this. The 42 apparently doesn't know where the right side of his car is and where he is in relation to the outside wall, meaning that the 42 could have been further right. There was 2 feet to the outside. Kyle goes as far as to post some SMT data. What you're looking at right here is the data that's provided to the race team. It creates this virtual appearance of the cars. So since Kyle posted it, we're going to go back and relive it as well. So here is the 8 and the 42 on the lap in question. These animated versions of the cars are created by the GPS, so they're very accurate. You're going to see on corner exit, the 8 comes up, gets very close to the 42. He makes contact, the damage into the wall, and then we go down into turn 3 and the damage starts. So I'm going to come back to the turn 3 issue, but first let's talk about what Kyle claimed, which is a gap to the right side of the 42. So the beauty of SMT is it's kind of like the land of virtual. I can move the camera wherever I want to move it. So let's take a minute, rotate the camera sky up, right above, and take a look right here. Look, is Kyle right? Is there a couple extra feet right here between the 42 and the wall? Absolutely. I would argue he's not as far right as the 12 who's just in front of him. But let me bring your attention to the top of the screen, Riley Herbst. No one next to him. And I would argue he's on the same location relative to the wall of the 42 of John Hunter Nemechek. I would also argue that while Kyle Busch should be upset because he had a great day that went away late, I don't think John Hunter did anything wrong here. Remember the side draft, meaning the 2 cars getting next to each other can slow one down, speed one up. I'm sure the 42 held its line, wanting the 8 to kind of come up, maybe try to stall the 8 and try to get some momentum. So the backstretch, that's a racing incident. But what everybody's going to be talking about this week isn't going to be about the contact on the backstretch. It's going to be what happens when they get down into turn 3. Remind everybody, contact on the backstretch. The 8 does hit the wall, goes down in this corner, goes straight up into the 42. So let's pause it. Let's look at the data. A lot going on here. Orange is the 42. Blue is the 8. So let me just explain, and I really want to focus on this section right here. This is steering. Steering is one of the more complicated things to look at because it's very noisy and it goes multiple directions. When you go down the straightaway, the wheel is straight. When you turn left, it goes up. It's a positive. And then you go down. You see this big right there, the blue? That's the 8 basically kind of connecting with the 42. What I really want to bring your attention to is this area down here because this is where the contact happens. Let's take a look. The blue line is straight. So he doesn't even turn into the corner, and then it goes straight to the left. And then he kind of tries to steer it. So what's very hard to tell is, was it purposeful? Was it intentional? I can tell you by looking at the data, it looks to me, if I look at brake pressure as well, the 8 steps on the brake and then steps on the brake again. So everybody can have an opinion whether it was purposeful or not. I can tell you looking at the driver data itself, it's impossible for me to tell. I can tell what he's doing with the controls, but what this doesn't tell us is where the front tires or rear tires are pointed. Remember, he just hit the wall. There could be damage. So that's what the data looks like. This is what the footage looks like. You be the judge. Definite contact between the 8 and the 42. Down in the corner, the 8 touches the apron. Up the racetrack, heavy contact with the 42, ending the 42's day and relegating the 8 of Kyle Busch to be the last car in the lead lap outside the top 15 after having a great day running inside the top 10. It's going to be an interesting conversation. I looked at it. I don't have an answer. You, the fan, could come up with your own assumption of what happened, but I'm pretty confident NASCAR will also be looking at this data and talking to both drivers and trying to figure out exactly what happened, both on the backstretch and down into turn 3.